Mike's Daily Podcast.
Finally, Mike does his podcast. Wow, it's FF episode 2783.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2783, my friend. I know you listen to this podcast. I don't know why, but you have been wondering what happened to that guy that likes to sing at the beginning of the podcast, and he is bald. Oh, maybe you don't care about that. That's kind of scalding. That lyric scalded me.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Scald. Hi, it's Mike. Well, I was off in another land.
Mike's
Actually,
Daily
it wasn't another country.
Podcast.
It wasn't another state.
Yeah.
It was just down a couple 1,000 miles south. It seemed like 1,000 miles. It was a flight. That's what it was to get to. To get to the Marina del Rey area of Los Angeles. And I have not been down in that area for, gosh, well over 10 years, 12 years. Actually, the last time I think I went was when my cousin Anki, who you hear at the beginning of the podcast, she was visiting us in 2012. So it's been that long, and I met some new people. I met some Los Angelians. Well, Los Angelinos. That's a Billy Joel song. Look it up. And what? As soon as I say Billy Joel, oh, I don't like Billy Joel. I never liked Billy Joel. Oh. Okay, fine. It's amazing. Your taste in music is probably fantastic, and I'm not going to find any fault in anything you listen to. At any rate, Café Anyway, I met some really cool people. I met a guy also named Mike. Hey, he should do a daily podcast as well. I remember on the trip, I spent about 20 minutes trying to explain my podcast to him.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Well, it's like I'm at a restaurant with all these people talking in the background. I'm going to have a podcast picture from the trip. How about that? I'm going to have lots of podcast pictures from the trip. And then I get back. It was a really short 3-day trip. And, part of that, both the first day and the last day is traveling. And so you're just worn out afterwards. And then spring started, and then there's allergies everywhere. And then when that all happens, my left ear closes up because COVID causes my left ear to close up, and allergies apparently now cause my left ear to close up. The late great Basil the Boxer. Oh, he never went down to Los Angeles. I'm sure he would have liked it. I forgot that the beaches of Venice beaches, where we were staying near, they let dogs on the beach. None of the dogs were on leashes. Wow. I wish I had a dog again. Oh, and Rocky the cat, who was in the last podcast picture, that podcast was called App. And big story today because of Apple, not Appley. Apple. Is it called? It's because it's an application. But really, Apple started apps as well as podcasts. We have to thank them for a lot of things. But you know what the U.S. government did? They said, no, Apple, you're a monopoly with your wonderful app store. And so we're going to do a lawsuit. And there's going to be problems for you in the courts of the world. I'm looking up the story. Oh, yeah, the DOJ lawsuit.
Now, that's legit.
That's right, the DOJ. You don't mess with them. The U.S. Justice Department, more than a dozen states as well, they filed an antitrust lawsuit against Apple, accusing the company of monopolizing the smartphone market. And they alleged that Apple kept prices and fees high and restricted developers that were making the apps used on the iPhone. They actually could have spent. It was too expensive. People that make apps, products, and services, they were charged too much. Apple issued a statement saying the lawsuit threatens the company's ability to provide innovative technology and could set a dangerous precedent. And yeah, Apple's going to whine about that, of course. So not the first time Apple has had lawsuits. Let's see if this fine article, this silly fat article from USA Today mentions some of the other.
Do you have any safe spaces?
Safe spaces?
Yes, where people can go to get away from the colonialist mentality. As long as there's a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, we'll be fine.
Apple recently made sweeping changes to its operating systems in the European Union, making them more open to comply with the EU regulations and the Digital Markets Act. In response to the DMA, the Digital Markets Act, Apple said its updates and changes would offer consumers more flexibility, alternative app marketplaces, and give developers the opportunity to link out for users to complete purchases of digital goods or services. I don't know what I just said, but if I had listened to this podcast about 50 more times, I might understand. The point is, Apple is being watched closely. And similar scrutiny, it says here in this article. Both Apple and Google have been scrutinized and faced lawsuits over how they treat developers. Google lost an antitrust lawsuit brought by Epic Games, best known as the maker of Fortnite, over barriers to the Android App Store. Apple also faced a similar suit in 2020 brought on by Epic, in which a federal judge ruled that Apple had to let developers use payment options outside of Apple's App Store. Let's see, the Apple has been an outlier in its willingness to make changes to products and services.
Anyway.
We're at Café Anyway, just to remind you. To the benefit of consumers and developers, we've seen Apple limit access to hardware and software for competing services and products like smartwatches and contactless payments, and that's harmed innovation and competition as we go outside of Café Anyway. Where are we bringing Mike's Daily Podcast? Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. The last podcast was called Aptly, because of all of the stuff we've been discussing and all the stuff going on in the tech world. I have to say, there I am. I'm talking to Mike, and Mike makes his living as an artiste. He makes amazing art. He's got his own website up. I think it's mikevargas.art. And he was talking about how he makes things for the website to sell. And he does it in such a way where, you know, back in the past, like let's say many of the country artists that I met back in the day when I was doing country radio.
Good morning, Mr.
Thank you. Luckily, it wasn't in the morning. I was doing the night shift. On the night shift, doing the country radio. And back then, you know, you'd meet these brand new country artists that would come by. Some became successful. Had on the Dixie Chicks, Keith Urban, Kenny Chesney. And then, you know, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes it was like they'd come out with an album, no one would buy it, and you never heard from them again. And the thing is that the record company would make a bunch of these albums. They'd make a bunch of these CDs. And then suddenly there's all this product, all these CDs, all this plastic that's been used that's going to, is it going to go back into the environment? Is it going to get stuck in a landfill and harm the environment? No, they put it in the bargain bin at the record store. Well, we don't really have record stores anymore. So that bargain bin option is gone. And now people, it's made to order. It's like if you want that shirt that Mike has on his website, you can order it and then they make it, versus a bunch of them being made and then, you know, he's got all this inventory. So that's brilliant. And that's kind of like what Mr. What's-His-Face that started Netflix was doing. He had all this product, all these CDs, DVDs back in the day before Netflix got ready and did the streaming thing. And instead of having all these DVDs in a warehouse somewhere, he just said, no, we'll mail them out, and then the people have them in their possession, and then when they want a new movie, they mail that one back to us, and then we send out the new DVD that they want. So it was constantly that product, that space that it wasn't taking up space because it was at the consumer's home. It worked out beautifully. I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but I think what I'm saying is it was a great idea. Well, no, it wasn't. Until it wasn't. Remember, Netflix for a while had something called Quickster because they were trying to divide the streaming from the DVD, and Quickster bombed. But now they don't even have the DVD section anymore. That ended last year. How about the electric vehicle? So this story, Ford, General Motors, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Jaguar, Land Rover, Aston Martin, all scaling back or delaying their electric vehicle plans because they wanted to emulate Tesla's success, but the buzz is wearing off. And we talked a little bit about this on the last story, the last podcast, but it is interesting since then, that whole bloodbath comment that Trump did, which got taken out of context, but he was talking about how
wow, that's wild.
Yeah, this is wild. As far as I can follow it, I don't follow the political media that much, but it seems that Trump was talking about how China is building automaking plants for electric vehicles in Mexico. And then he's going to, the Xi Jinping is going to send all that into the U.S., all these exploding electric vehicles that will explode in your garage is the theory. And that's going to be a big... what he was saying, Trump was saying, I'm not going to there's going to be a 100% tariff if China tries to do that. Make cars in Mexico and send them over here. So I listen often to Adam Curry, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I completely agree with you, Adam. I don't know why. I think that he takes it from a different angle, and he was in the industry. He was in
the Pam Baumgartner Files.
Let's say a shout out to Pam Baumgartner, who probably no longer listens to the show. Usually right here I would read something from her blog, but I don't know if she still does that. It's A Couple of Things was the name of the blog. Maybe she does it. I think it was on what was that? WordPress.com. Okay, one of the things, let's get off the topic of Adam Curry and Trump. How about dogs? So you hear the late great Basil the Boxer at the beginning of all the podcasts. Dog owners are choosing pets over parenthood. That's right, a fur baby is about $2,500 per year. Or if a dog or a cat... Now, dogs don't usually last 18 years, sadly. Cats do, generally, if they're being taken care of and you don't let them outside, which is hard to do because they love to go outside. But if you have a pet for 18 years, it'll end up costing you $45,000. A human baby, in contrast, for 18 years will cost you...
It's Bison Bentleys. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself...
Do you know Dad? Yes, Bison, do you know Dad? We know Dad. But did you know Dad? So, a furry pet, $45,000 for 18 years. A human being, $310,000. $310,000 for 18 years. Dogs play the greatest role in decision making by people ages 18 to 35. 38% of Americans say they are choosing pets over parenthood. The reason? Children are expensive, dogs are easier. 67% of people ages 18 to 26 are choosing pets over parenthood, at least for now. And 43% from 27 to 42. So your youngins, 67%. Your slightly older people, 43%. More than 80% said caring for a dog is easier, I guess, as compared to a cat. No. Oh, I don't think cats are involved in this story at all. From Rob Black. I produce his podcast, although we'll see how much longer that lasts, because I think he's going to use AI to produce his podcast coming up soon, which is sad for me, but oh well. But you can hear him on the radio on AM 1220 KDOW. I'm not
That's
done.
enough. Put down the mic.
Trump. Donald, give me another second, please. Yes, so Rob is on AM 1220 KDOW, 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. hours. And then he's on Cron Television in the 9 o'clock hour, Monday through Thursday. So 60% say they consider their dog when it comes to housing options. And nearly 90% consider their dog when making decisions about their career. Their dog figures into their career. And 80% say they think of the dog when making romantic decisions. Fascinating. And I will say, to add to that last part, I met my lovely lady friend through my dog, through the late great Basil the Boxer. So that definitely is true. 80%. Note to self. Yes, so Basil more than 80% for sure. And there was a time when I wanted to move out of California, and I figured, nah, I got a dog. So that was the decision about my career. So I am part of that 90%. The average cost of pet insurance for dogs is $45 per month, or $5,000 of annual coverage. Oh, that is for $5,000 of annual coverage. So $55 per month for a policy with unlimited annual coverage, to consider that. Let's see, as this was a story last week, SpaceX launched the third test flight of its Starship rocket, and they reached space. The Mammoth vehicle hit new milestones. The rocket flew further than previous tests, with the flight lasting about an hour before it, with Starship breaking up above the Indian Ocean. These spaceships he launches always blow up or disintegrate or whatever, and they're all clapping. Yay, it blew up. It's flew into smithereens. Woo! The Smithereens was an awesome band. And the Guns and Blood and Roses. Dun, dun, dun. Whenever I see you, I don't know what to say. Too much passion, is it never enough? Too much passion is not enough. I poured you some root beer as I was singing that. Too much root beer is not enough. Smithereens, great band. The Starship, let's see. The Starship aims to become a new method of flying cargo and people beyond Earth. The rocket is critical to NASA's plan to return astronauts to the moon. So NASA is interested in this as well. Starship stands 397 feet tall, and Starship is about 30 feet in diameter. There are no people on board, thankfully, because it blew up smithereens. Too much passion is not enough. Oh, so Reddit got their IPO out today, or was that yesterday? Or recently anyway. They did the IPO.
Try to game me. No.
Don't laugh at me. Please don't laugh at me. Apparently it went up though.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, in trading it debuted at some like $30 or whatever, and it shot up 40% by the end of the day. Amazon plans a new event, Big Spring Sale. It is going on through March 26th. Amazon also has, it is not just for Prime members, it has a Prime Day in the summer, and they have a 48-hour pet day in the fall. Ooh. It's good news for you pet people. And I have to tell you a little bit about my trip. So my lovely lady friend has a great cousin named Olgi. And we visited her and her 12-year-old daughter, Olivia, in Marina del Rey, Venice Beach. And the importance of this is, A, they are fantastic people. We love them dearly. And we got to meet Mike Varga. I got to meet Mike. I had never met him before. My lovely lady friend grew up with him, a cousin of hers. But let me just say that I had forgotten how many memories I have of Marina del Rey and Venice Beach growing up. And to be able to see it again and see that it had changed, mostly for the better. And to see it, and all those memories came flooding back. And Mike did a fantastic thing. He let my lovely lady friend and I borrow 2 of his bikes, little beach cruisers. So comfortable. Some of the most comfortable bikes I've ever been on in my life. And it teleported me back in time. All these waves of memories hitting me as I remembered back when I was a kid and I rode bike.
Master.
Well, I did have a burger now and then with my mom as we rode bikes. We'd stop at this place in Venice Beach and get French soup, French onion soup. That's right. That place is closed. I got a picture of that, but it's still there. I forget what it is, but it's right by the Venice Pier. And my lovely lady friend and I rode these bikes, went to the Fisherman's Village, went to Burton Chase Park, and there's a really nice Trader Joe's near Burton Chase Park. And it's right where there used to be some yacht club years ago. Speaking of Trader Joe's, they said it's popular mini canvas totes will be back in... Yes, they'll be back in stores this summer. Meanwhile, the currently sold out status symbols are listed for hundreds of dollars on eBay, interestingly enough. But we rode our bikes around there. It was such a great trip. I'll talk a little bit more about it on the podcast. But the flight was great. It was on Southwest. Crowded, utterly crowded both ways. Thankfully, we got into Zone B on the way back. Going there, it was Zone C. Oh, that's terrible. And some idiot got on board on the way down from Oakland to LA with a huge suitcase. Dude, that is not a carry-on. Why nobody had stopped him on the way in? That might be on Oakland Airport about that. Dude, that has to be checked. How did you get that past the security people? At any rate,
Mike Matthews?
I am.
You not know Mike Matthews. Really?
Eminem. We got Eminem.
Thank you. I'm glad you just discovered that. I am the real Eminem, yes.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. Is that, you done? That just dawned on you? Wow. But I sat next to somebody on the plane going down to LA that was an employee, a flight attendant for Southwest. And he told me that, because I asked him, what happened to Virgin Airlines? And he said, well, Virgin Airlines all the planes got bought up by Alaskan Airlines. Isn't that interesting? And he said that the best time to fly, this is the other interesting bit of news because I like to give you interesting stuff that you don't get anywhere else. The other interesting bit of news I got from this guy is that the best time to fly, well, Friday is not. He says Fridays are crazy busy. Sundays are crazy busy. Saturday's very light, he said. Very light. But he said mornings. Mornings are the best time to fly, of course, because people just can't get up and get to the airports fast enough. And really in the Bay Area, with these flights leaving at 6 a.m.
I can't believe what the hell.
It's called
is
Café
this place
Anyway. That's what it is anyway. You might as well not sleep. And to tell you the truth, Friday morning as we were getting ready for this trip, and my lovely lady friend, as I mentioned in previous podcasts, likes to wait to the last second to get things done. It's, lovely lady friend, do you want to catch that bus that's going right by the house? Sure. Let's go. Oh, wait, I got to do 50 more things. Okay, we missed the bus. That's all right, we'll get Uber. So we got Uber, right? And we take Uber to the BART station because BART actually, to get to the Oakland airport from BART is fantastically easy because they got this special thing that goes over Oakland. It goes from the, what do you call it? The arena. The arena. It's the Oakland Arena. Where the A's play. Do they still play there? Anyway, it's the arena place, exit, BART station. The one you get off to go to, well, you used to get off there to go see the Raiders, etc. Coliseum. It's the Coliseum.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means.
The Coliseum station. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So you get off there, and right there is, you don't even have to leave the BART. There is another train that takes you straight to Oakland Airport. It's super easy and smooth and wonderful, and you're going over that In-N-Out burger that I thought closed, but it did not. Even though it's an Oakland In-N-Out burger, it did not close. So I don't know which one is the one that closed, the In-N-Out burger that closed. At any rate, the point is, I really don't want to miss this point. Oh, so we take the Uber to the BART station, and my lovely lady friend had left her phone in the Uber. So we got to catch this plane. And I'm telling her, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. How did you forget at some point you got to get over that really quick, because now you got a problem to solve. You can't get mad at each other. You got to just solve the problem. Let's pay attention to the problem at hand. And so it was, let's figure out what we're going to do. So lovely lady friend came up with a great idea. She used my phone to talk to Uber. She had to email them, though, because I do not have the Uber app. Made it far more difficult than it should be, I guess. But I don't want it. and I was thinking about downloading it. Almost did, but she found a way around it. And the Uber driver was so wonderful and kind. He went back to the house and dropped off the phone. He knew it was ours. But, that was one of the most stressful times I've had trying to get on a flight. Even though we had all this time to catch it, we had more than 2 hours to kill. Mike, why did you just drive down to LA? Well, it's 6-7 hours. I hate driving all that way. And then what if you hit traffic? And then you always eat the worst takeout food, the worst fast food on the way. It's just, no. So we got to LA. It was wonderful. It rained a little bit on us when we first got there. We saw the Griffith Park Observatory. So many other fun things I will try to get to in podcasts in the future. Look who's here. Hello, It's Madame Rootabega. Always that was very interesting. Ooh. You know, Madam, I got so just talking to Mike, who's an artiste, and he also is a cameraman and has produced documentaries about horses. Oh, that's Nilly. But Benita's not here. Just it's you, Madame Rootabega. So it was fascinating talking to him and about what the heck, why do I even do what I do? I thought about, why do I do this when everybody's on TikTok? TikTok's not going away anytime soon, no matter what the U.S. government tries to do. And yes, there's a lot to be said about, okay, all these other apps that you have on your phone are probably also monitoring you way more than the Chinese government is. But so at any rate, I'm not going to do TikTok. But then I realized TikTok does have a website now. And I could just log on to the website and upload some of my chit chat. I don't think a single person would care about it, especially since the general audience for TikTok is between 0 and 20. So I don't know why, but yes, you're right, Nilly. Nilly, I'll take you home because I don't know where Benito is. But Madame Rootabega, do you like TikTok? Yes. Do you like horses? Yes. Do you like to fly? No. Yeah, a lot of people. And that's one thing. TikTok If you do not like to fly, don't have TikTok, because TikTok has lots of videos about all the reasons why you shouldn't fly. Hey, Boeing planes are all going to blow up, so don't fly them. Thanks, guys. Hey, guys, the guy that founded Boeing, he committed suicide, but he actually didn't. It was some airline that killed him. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. Yeah. That kind of thing. Oh, and then there's this conspiracy going on that Google is the one that started all of this hubbub about getting TikTok banned. Google lobbied all these people in the Congress to ban TikTok. But meanwhile, TikTok flies all its influencers out to Washington, D.C. to try and talk to lawmakers, and they actively tell their users to go and contact their local congressperson, politician, to have them stop this TikTok ban. So whatever, that's the mess it is. It just rubs me the wrong way, this topic. So I'll stop talking about it. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, is this podcast going to be daily again?
Yeah, daily. Do you know that? I will try, guys. I will try to keep this daily yet again. But this has been a really busy week trying to get caught up, trying to deal with all kinds of stuff, and getting up to speed.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
I'm going to try ever so much to stay daily. So call me at that number. Let me know you exist, that you actually listen to the show. And anything you'd like to add, please add it. You can also comment in the section, your comment, not so comments. And the other ways to reach me, here is A-Frame to tell you all about it. It is good to be back.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!